Hello, I am Kat. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to a new video and a new month. So today I'm going to be going over the books that I want to read in May, or basically my May TBR. So the last, I feel like, few months I've been a little bit chaotic in my mood reading, but I'm going to actually set a TBR for myself this month and try to get to it. And I have 7 books here. I think they're actually all fantasy books, which is fantastic. I want to start getting back to like my love of fantasy and these books that consume everything. Because for me, as we're going into the warmer weather, I feel like I'm the opposite of like every other person I know, where I just want to read epic fantasy. I want to be consumed. I want to I don't want, like a lot of people say beach reads are like quick romances or thrillers. To me, it is an intensely epic fantasy where that is just like I'm laying outside and it consumes my life. But yeah, I have a bunch of fantasy books and we're going to try to focus on reading a lot more fantasy in May, because I've definitely been slacking lately. I've primarily been reading like romantasy, which, it's still kind of in the category, but I want to do a lot of fantasy. So actually, wait, no, one of them sci-fi. Okay, anyways, let's look at the books that I want to read. I have one that I am currently reading, Dune, and I can't remember if I've mentioned this in other videos, but I am reading Dune, and that far into it, and I'm absolutely loving this. Like, I genuinely think that this is one of the best sci-fi books I've ever read, and just based on this far in. But my issue is, I've been reading this for about 2 months now, and as much as I love it, it is one that I put down and I don't immediately want to pick it back up, because I feel like I have to be in a certain mindset for it. I have to be in that like ready to learn, ready to consume, ready to like let it encompass everything type of mindset, because otherwise, like, it's not one that I can just like lightly read and not think about. It's not one of those that you like come home after an exhausted day and like sit down and like don't need to put brain power into. So it's kind of been on the back burner for me just because of that. It's been a busy few months for me. I have a lot going on in my life, so it's kind of been one of those books that it is not at the forefront of my mind to want to pick up. And to be very honest, I don't think I've touched this in like 3 weeks now, since I went to a silent book club and I was reading it there. But when I do pick it up, I'm obsessed. I love every moment of it. I like cannot stop getting into it. I'm so excited. It's just actually getting myself to do it. So we're gonna finish it this month. I'm on page 322, and this edition has, I think, a bit under 800 pages. So I have made a good progress in it. And yeah, it is fantastic. So very much expect me to actually finish this. Yeah, I wanna have it done. I have too many books on my currently reading shelf, and we need to knock this one off. So this is the only sci-fi and the only book that I am in the middle of reading at the moment. And now into the 6th fantasy, I guess. So first off, we have The Lies of Lomora by Scott Lynch. This is supposed to be I think a heist story of a group of thieves. So we have Lomora. He's Lomora. He's a guy. He's a thief. He has a group of friends. They are a tight-knit band of thieves called the Gentleman Bastards. And this is their story, I guess, or one of their heists. So for full transparency, I have tried to pick this up on 2 separate occasions in the past, and I have DNF'd it both times. But I am challenging myself to one more time try to read this. And if I don't, bye, we're done. There's no chance of like, it's leaving my shelf. Honestly, the only issue is like, so for me, the first 2 chapters, actually, I don't even know if I've made it past like the first 2 chapters every time, but they're following Lomora as he's a child. And it was just very boring, which I think it's very much one of those books, if I had powered through, if I had gotten past that little bit, I would have loved it. I think I'm really going to enjoy this, because I like heist stories. I like heist fantasies. It's just the first few times I've tried to read it, something blocked my mind. And I do know, like, the first time I tried to read it, it was the height of the pandemic. Like, it was literally like March 2020. So nothing was sticking in my head. And I can't remember the second time I tried to read it, but I think it was the exact same issue of just my mind was not in the place to try and think of a fantasy book. So we're going to try this. We're going to give it one last chance. Then I guess technically, I have kind of started this one. I've read 1 chapter and I don't have anything in it because I started on Kindle Unlimited, which, by the way, like, great to know that the Popular is on Kindle Unlimited. But I am going to switch over to physical because I can already tell 1 chapter in that I want to tab this. I want to keep track. I want to keep notes, because R.F. Kuang is probably, in my opinion, one of the best writers I have ever read from. And her books are so smart. They are so intelligently written, so intense, so full of knowledge that like I want to tap everything. But we're following an orphan named Rin. So she enters these empire-wide to kind of like potentially gain admittance to universities. This takes place, it's kind of like an imperial China-esque time. Not quite, but like it's East Asian imperial time in a magical world. So she enters these imperial tests and is so determined to make a place for herself in the world that she basically studies until like her eyes are bleeding type of thing. At the end of it, she manages to place #1 in her province. This means that she automatically gets a position at this coveted war college. That has been her goal. She's like, you know, if I'm going to go for it, I'm going for the best of the best. I'm going for somewhere where I don't need to pay tuition to get in because I am poor. I'm an orphan. Like, I can't. So she goes to the most elite military school in the world, or I guess the country. And that is where I'm at. But it says here that targeted by rival classmates for her color, poverty, and gender, Rin discovers that gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. Could be the weapon the Empire desperately needs. So the Empire that they're in, they've been kind of in a period of peace, but like very vague. And they are potentially about to enter another war, the Third Poppy War. And this magical thing that she has, these abilities, might be one of the few things that are able to stave off war in her world. Love it. Like literally one chapter and I'm obsessed. And yeah, I have a really strong feeling that this is going to be unbelievable. And then similarly, another book I think will be unbelievable, Jade the City by Fonda Lee. You would not believe how long I've owned both of these and wanted to read them and just have not made time for it. So yes, we're finally doing it. This is one. It's kind of an urban fantasy world where I believe there's different families that control the substance jade. I'm not sure if it grants people magical powers or they use it to like control their magic or amplify their magic, something like that. But we are following two like mafia-esque families in this island who have the jade. That is a terrible. Okay, so for centuries, warriors used the jade to enhance their abilities. So that makes me think that it does either grant magic or enhances magic. One of the two. The war is over. A new generation vies for control of the capital city. Siblings of the powerful Cal family must prepare for battle, and the fragile peace between the clans is about to break. So yeah, what I thought. Two clans, both trying to control the jade. Something like that. I'm really excited. This is another 5-star prediction. Like, I genuinely think that this is going to be like amazing. So amazing. I'm really, really excited. Everything I hear about this is just amazing. And now we have 3 new 2024 releases. So I am going to do a video just specifically reading these. But first off, The Djinn Waits 100 Years. This is a gothic tale. So I think this is one of 2 like gothic fantasies, which maybe I should do a video also like kind of talking about gothic fantasies, because they are one of my favorite genres. Gothic tale about a ruined mansion by the sea, the djinn that haunts it, and a curious girl who unearths the tragedy that happened there 100 years previous. Honestly, don't really need to know too much else for me to really want to get into this. I don't know if I really want to read too much more into it, because I feel like this is going to be one of those books that's like very beautiful, very haunting, and also kind of nice to go into it like not knowing much. But I'm so excited. Like, I truly cannot wait to read this one. It just sounds beautiful. And yeah, I love gothic fantasies. I love these kind of hauntingly beautiful stories, and this does feel like it's gonna hit like in that same vein. And I guess let's talk about the other gothic fantasy, which is The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden. So she is the author of The Bear and the Nightingale, which is a Russian folkloric tale that I truly thought was like fantastic, really beautiful. The other 2 books in the series, not as much, but the first book I thought was like one of the most beautiful, like haunting, atmospheric, like stunning folkloric tale. This one, it's kind of similar. Well, not at all, actually. So it's during the Great War, a combat nurse searches for her brother, believed dead in the trenches despite eerie signs that suggest otherwise. And this is another one that is described as hauntingly beautiful. It's a historical novel with a speculative twist. I know a lot of people who I follow have given this like very, very high ratings, and I have a feeling that I will too. The only thing that could like potentially like kind of ruin it for me is historical fantasies are kind of hit and miss. Sometimes I really love them. Sometimes I think they're intensely boring. It just like, that might be a little hit and miss, a little bit of a 50-50 chance. And our final book is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. First book I'll ever read from him, though I do own, I think, 1 or 2 others that he has written, but he seems to be a very well-liked author, a very popular author, but, well, very well-liked, but maybe underrated. Like, not as enough people have read it from what I heard. And this is a Holmes and Watson style detective duo. They have a fantasy with a mystery twist. So there's an imperial officer who's dead, and then we follow a detective and an assistant who are brought in to investigate it. A lot of people say this one's pretty interesting, like that it has an interesting magic system, an interesting world, just like very unique in a lot of ways, which that makes me excited. I want to, yeah, like have the interesting, unique things, you know, like I want to know some weirder things, I guess. But yeah, those are the 7 books I want to read in May. I'm definitely going to be reading a lot more than that. You can guarantee that. I usually read like between 20 and 30 a month, but I'm trying to purposely set not too many on my TBRs so that I don't feel like a little overwhelmed by that and a little bit too boxed in. But yeah, so these are the only ones that I'm actually gonna like really plan to read, but I'm sure there will be lots of other fun books and lots more to talk about. So if you haven't already and you're interested, please consider subscribing, and maybe I'll see you in some more videos. I'm sure there'll be lots of good ones up. There's also lots of good ones already uploaded if you want to check those out. And hopefully I will see you soon. Goodbye. Bye.